Oh,
Ah,
oh wow. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that.
I love it.
That song always made me happy. So, my beautiful ladies and Len, thank you for joining us. I am super excited about this. I had a few ladies that say, please record. We cannot make it record. I said, I will do the recording. So I would love to say, first of all, thank you to Ronnie. She is going to be the host and do the recording for me as my internet is very unstable. I want to say thank you, Ronnie. And then we're going to start off with Len. So when I wanted to do this session, I pray for the best inspirational human beings, beautiful people to do this. And Len and Alejandro and Ronnie's face come in front of me. And when I found or when I connected with all three of them, they said yes. I was over the moon. So, Len, the first time I met you, it was on Speaker Speak Live, and you didn't do a speech, but that day you attract me. There was like a sparkle, a happiness inside of you that you are putting on your face like now. And I like happy people. I love happy people. And when you did your speech, wow, I was blown away. Your speech was amazing. So I just want to say thank you for your inspiration and thank you for coming to give us something about joy. So I'm going to give it all over to you. Ladies, if you can mute yourself, we can start. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And good afternoon to everyone. Well, it is 2 p.m. here in Virginia, which is only 20 minutes from Washington, D.C., if you've been here before. And the funny thing is, the title of my speech is actually Don't Wipe Your Sweat. And so lucky, we only danced for 3 minutes. So no one is sweating, right? Okay. So I want to share this with everyone. Years ago, I saw this awesome quote, and I felt so inspired by it so that I could find courage. And I'm going to share this quote with you so that you can be encouraged and find joy. And it goes like this: Never shy away from challenges, never run away from adversity. Face yourself head on. Easily said versus being done, isn't it? Well, why do you think that? Let me give you a hint. It has a four-letter word and it starts with an F. Yeah, that F. Fear. Fear. And it rhymes with beer. And you know about drinking beer, having too much of it can make you do some pretty dumb things, right? Well, fear is just the same way. You keep thinking about it long enough, and you'll be on the sideline watching others soar. Well, fear is the number one reason why dreams are shattered, hope is lost, and it just paralyzes you. So when Sanet asked me to talk about the subject of joy today, I feel that fear is the culprit to make us depressed and deprive us from going forward. You may say, then let's just stay away from fear. Well, you know what? You can't. It's our natural instinct. And we are ingrained with two types of fear. The first type is the fear from actual danger that keeps us alive. Well, lucky for me, there are no venomous snakes here. Otherwise, I might have to turn off Zoom and see you later. The other type of fear is our mind fear, the negative things that we put in our head. Does that sound familiar to you? Now, whether it's public speaking, career or business growth, taking risks, or even asking someone else out. There's this chat in your head that keep on telling you, are you sure you want to do that? Like right now, my head is spinning, wondering if I'm going to mess up this talk. Not to worry, I am prepared because I have a system in place to help me work with fear. Now, I'm sure you all have heard by now the cliche fear, false evidence appearing real. Then why is that we are still afraid when we know that fear is just an illusion? You may say, we should change our perception and continue to face fear. How does that work for the majority of you? If I'm going to ask you, okay, just come up or turn on your Zoom and give a 30-minute speech, you're probably going to have a conversation in your head. Well, some of you might not. But if you do, you're going to ask yourself, can I really do this? Or maybe not today, or there's just too many people looking at me. So changing your perception alone won't work. What we need is a system. And I learned the system back in the day of broken bones and bruises. But don't worry, you don't have to go through that. I already have taken the beating for the team, and I'm just going to be here and share you my discoveries. Are you ready for the system? Awesome. Rise. RISE. And I'm not talking about waking up early in the morning. That's called coffee. I'm talking about a system to help you bounce back up every time when fear knocks you down. It's like your very own trampoline to success. RISE, RISE, stands for Rally in Spite of Everything. Now, when I discovered RISE, it's not meant to fight fear. It's meant to acknowledge fear. If you see a mountain lion, don't go fighting with a mountain lion. That's real danger. Time for safety. But when you see or have imaginative fear, it's only your head. You should not be running away. The obstacle in front of you really, it doesn't change. What needs to change is you. The $1,000,000 question is, how? Well, let me bring you back the time when I was taught about RISE. In 1993, I was a freshman in college, 18 years old. And while walking to one of my engineering classes, I saw a poster on the door and it said, free karate. Now, I don't know about you, but as a broke college student, the word free, it had me hooked. Ever since when I was a kid, I loved karate movies. I always wanted to be another Bruce Lee, famous martial artist. I even had it written on the wall of my bedroom, Bruce Len. So the next day I arrived to the gym early and ready for my free class. One by one, muscular, massive men enter the room. And I was thinking, my goodness, now I know why it's free. I'm going to be that punching bag. And then I heard, I am Sensei Dombrowski, your teacher. What? Dombrowski? Not Mr. Miyagi? I mean, that's who I see in the movies, the Karate Kid, right? Wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi. Then he said, stand still and watch me. He started to perform his karate. And every time when he executed a move, I could feel the vibration on the floor. His eyes were laser focused. And when he was done, he stood at attention without moving a muscle. And then he said, we're going to do 1,000 punches, kicks, and arm pounding. I thought, arm pounding? My goodness, is this a bone breaking contest? Yeah, my eyes were just as big as yours. I thought he was kidding. Worse yet, he continued, don't wipe your sweat or the entire class will do push-ups. I mean, I do want to be Bruce Lee, but it's this request of 1,000 of these things doable? Plus, not wiping your sweat? And as we began at around the 50th punch, the sweat was dripping down from my forehead and right toward my nose. Just imagine the sweat is heading toward your nose. Yep, it's itchy, isn't it? I was furious. I wanted to follow his order, but I just couldn't. It was unbearable. So what did I do? Yeah, I wiped my sweat. Uh-huh. The entire class got punished with push-ups, and we only did 25 times because every time when I got up, I forgot and wiped my sweat again. Now, just imagine muscular, massive men giving you looks while doing push-ups. Let's just say there were more than just sweat dripping. And when I got to the locker room, I felt this sweaty hand on my shoulder. And I turned around and it was Sensei Dabrowski. He said, "How was class?" I'm sorry, Sensei, for making the entire class do push-ups, but I don't think I can continue. This class is just too hard for me. He looked me in the eyes and he said, "Don't wipe your sweat." What? I'm not even sweating, Sensei. And he said, "Your sweat is no different from the distractions in your mind. Learn to control it before it controls you. If you can control what's on the outside, you can control what's in the inside. Focus on the things that you can do, not the things that you cannot do." Wow, that's deep. And then he continued to move forward and said, "Life is full of obstacles. You want to know your potential? Learn to rise, rally in spite of everything." Now, when you get that kind of preaching in the locker room, it's serious. But that chat with Sensei made me realize that I am here to discover my potential. I wanted to be Bruce Lee, a black belt in karate. That class might be tough, but I am here to learn, not to leave. And after that day, "Don't wipe your sweat" and "Rise, rally in spite of everything" became my motto in that classroom. Fast forward to 2019, I decided to take on a new challenge, writing a book. By now, I have been working as an engineer for over 20 years. My life is mostly surrounded by numbers and formula. Descriptive writing was never my thing, but I was excited for this new adventure. So I turned on my laptop and decided to write anyway. After a week, I had only written 5 pages. Then I started to take breaks. Next thing I knew, breaks become longer and typing becomes less. That's when I realized fear was taking the wheel. It was telling me, "Who will read your book? You're an engineer. Writing is not your thing." And every time those words crept in, fear gets the best of me, and my confidence shrunk faster than a cashmere in the dryer. So what happened when fear gets the best of you? It's like being in a boxing match with Mike Tyson. If I hit the ground, I will stay there beyond the count of 10. Let's just say it's my new comfort zone. And for those of you who are first-time author, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you who haven't or planning to, be ready to lose sleep, drink lots of coffee, and lots of self-doubts. Well, I decided to stay down and I put my laptop away. While it was collecting dust, I went back to my martial arts route and reflected by meditating. Instead of meditating on nothing, I chose to meditate on my fear. When those negative thoughts kept on replaying in my head that I am no writer, guess who else also popped up in my head? Sensei Dombrowski. I could hear him say, "Don't wipe your sweat and rise." And that's exactly what I did. It was my own words, my negative thoughts. It's like the sweat. They are the distractions created in my own mind to justify fear. And I immediately apply the rise technique, rally in spite of everything. But then I noticed something. The concept of rise is not enough to conquer my fear. Then my engineering mind took over. I wanted to create a formula, design a system where I can suppress fear each time it arises. I believe in having a step, a guide that is clear enough so that I can navigate toward my goal. And that's when I took the rise concept from Sensei and I brought it to the next level. I broke rise into an acronym. And it goes like this. R is rationalize what is your fear. I is initialize once you decide what to do. S is to strategize a plan so that you can go forward. And E is to energize your spirit as you are pursuing your goal. And this all made sense to me. When we succumb to our fear, it's because our plan is not clear. And I applied this system to my book writing journey. The first thing was to rationalize my fear. I feared that my book would just be sitting on the shelf collecting dust. And I reframed my thought of no one reading it to just one person reading it. And I feel the sense of urgency to get it done for that person. Then I initialized by creating the table of contents. I wanted to set a path so that I know where to go and how to end. The table of content is my momentum tool. And I strategize by focusing on getting paragraphs written instead of focusing on chapters. I feel that writing short paragraphs made it more achievable. And lastly, I made it personal. And I picture myself signing my books for my readers. And each time that I see it in my mind, I was energized to get it done. Each chapter that I finish is a celebration of one step closer to my success. And after using the RISE acronym, I got it done. From fearing that no one will read it, it got to the bestsellers list the day that it was debuted. Thank you. It's amazing how our brains can turn little spiders into monsters. But it's even more frightening when you do the same thing with your dreams and aspirations. So let's all rise up and show our fears who's boss, because it's about time to discover your true potential. Let's minimize your fears and take action, or you'll be the one haunted by the ghost of what if. As for me, I still haven't made it to Hollywood like Bruce Lee, but today I am an author, a speaker, and a fifth degree black belt who influence people, thank you, who influence people around the world. And it is all because I rise, rally in spite of everything, using the acronym rationalize, initialize, strategize, and energize in the face of fear. And I remember what Sensei said, don't wipe your sweat, control your distraction. And I have provided you my system to minimize fear. It is now your turn to rise to your fear. If you want to find your calling, rise. The next thing you find out, you'll be the happiest person. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's amazing. See, ladies, why I had to get Len for this session. It's amazing, Len. You are amazing. You are so inspiring. Is there any questions that any of you want to ask Len? So I just want to say in your reaction button, give Len a heart, and then I'm going to take a photograph of us. If you're ready, you can smile. One, two, three. Thank you. Thank you. Len, Thank you so much. You are welcome to stay the rest of the session. If there's any more questions, I will make sure to answer, to send it to you for your to answer. Thank you for your rise. I love it. I love it. Thank you. So
Thank you
if we
very
then
much
can go
for
over to,
having me.
oh, it's my pleasure. If we can go over to Aliana. So Aliana is also on my Speaker Speak Live group. And Aliana, I didn't see your 10-minute speech already. I think I've missed it, but you know, you are also one of the ladies I connect because of your happiness, because of your the way that you talk and the way that you make, if you are the most important person in your life when you talk to us. So that I love. So I'm gonna say thank you for inspiring us, and I will give it all over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And it's interesting how the universe works, that I come right after Len and he's talking about fear and how to change it, because I had a very tragic moment in my life where I lost my parents and my first husband to a car crash, and I was the only one who survived. So joy for me was not an option at that time, because I have this movie in my head playing 24/7 that I see them all dying over and over and over again, because you know how the brain works. Memory, imagination, dream, they are all processed in the same area of our brain as reality. So what that means is that every single time that I would go back to the memory of them dying, or the fear that somebody else would die in front of me, would populate my brain as if it's happening right here, right now, which is the basis of post-traumatic stress disorder. And so, as you can imagine, with those odds running in my head, it was hard to choose joy. And now I teach people how to choose joy in spite of whatever story or history you have. Because if I can choose joy in spite of what I have running in my brain 24/7, anybody can do it. And the way that I was able to do it was that every breath I took, every day I woke up, I went for gratitude, I went for sharing with good friends, because we have a saying in Brazil, and I'll say it in Portuguese and then I'll translate it. Tristeza compartilhada é metade da tristeza. Alegria compartilhada é alegria multiplicada. So it rhymes in Portuguese, but in English, literally means sadness, when it is shared, is half of the load. Happiness, when it's shared, is multiplied. So when I felt desperate, I felt joyless, I felt helpless and hopeless, I was always looking for a friend that I could share that with. And if I didn't have a friend at hand to share that moment, I would write it down. Because just the act of writing it down, it helps us to engage our prefrontal cortex. And by doing that, the desperation the reactive brain takes us into lowers automatically. So that's my second tip. The first one was take a breath. The second one is share with someone that moment of joyless moment. Share it with a good friend, share it in a writing, okay? And the third things that I want to share with you guys right now, and I'm not gonna be able to teach the full thing that I learned the past 10 years, is do EFT tapping, which is acupuncture without needles, where you activate at some points in your body that will help you also lower your reactive brain response. And the point that I want to teach you all is this one here. where you just activate it just by doing this gently, and take a breathe. And why taking a breath? That's one thing that I forgot to tell you. Taking a breath gives your brain immediate message that relaxing is safe. This has been proven scientifically, that lowers the stress hormones immediately when you take a deep breath. So those are my 3 tools that I want to share with you guys. And then maybe when I have a longer time, I'll share the other points for EFT tapping. But now it's breathe. Your brain learns that it's safe to relax. Share your sadness, your worries, either with a friend or writing. And use this point here, which we call it, by the way, Len, karate chop point, right? And this point is a governing point called do my point. And it's also psychological reversal point. So this is a very good point that when you're anxious, tap on this discreetly and breathe, okay? And this is it for today, ladies, because joy is possible. I am a walking proof of that. And I want you all to understand that everybody can choose that. And it is a practice. If you're not able to do it immediately, you keep on practicing because it does happen. And I attest to that. Okay. Thank you so much. I loved sharing this with you all. And I will love to see you again more and more. Thank
Oh,
you.
oh wow. That was amazing, Eliana. Amazing. So, ladies and Lynn, do you have any questions? Because I saw in the chat, Jayajri asked, we need to know more about the tapping. So we will have to do something special, but I'm gonna tell you what I am thinking of doing. So but first of all, is there any questions for Eliana? So I've got just one request, Aliano. Can you repeat that saying of yours in Portuguese and then in English again? It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Em português, tristeza compartilhada é metade da tristeza. Alegria compartilhada é alegria multiplicada. So it means sadness, when shared, is half of the sadness. Happiness, when shared, is happiness multiplied.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And ladies and Lynn, when I asked Aliana if she could come and share, I didn't know about her backstory. It's the first time I'm hearing it. And I have goosebumps because it just happened that the three of you were supposed to come and talk to us about joy. And Aliana, you are coming back. I cannot wait for your 20 minutes. So I am super excited. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Before we go over to Ronnie, yes, Aliana. Thank you. Thank you, Aleona. Before we go over to Ronnie, I just want to say that I am thinking of doing something special to bring in. So, for instance, like Jadri, you ask about the tapping. I am going to work on a Diamond Beauty show where we will be able to bring in more specialized sessions because also some of the session will feed into my TV show. I am praying for a sponsor because I will be continue with my TV show on a Sunday, 12 o'clock Pacific time. I've got 2 sessions left, but I know I am going to continue. So with that special sessions, the Diamond Beauty show, I am that is going to feed into the TV show. So I'm working on something very special, and Aliana, the tapping part, we will be doing.
And
Thank you for that.
I add
So
one thing? So
yes, yes,
this is my
yes.
parents, and this is the picture that I took the day before they died. And this is my first husband. He was a veterinarian, and he worked for the army in Amazon, and he took care of the wildlife there. And that's what you see there is a cougar that he's holding. And I lost them in that car crash. Yeah.
Oh,
So
thank you
thank
so
you.
much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank, thank you, Aliana. Shoo, Aliana, that and Len, you were amazing. And I know our next speaker is going to blow your mind. I have Ronnie in my life for almost 2 years. Ronnie, can you believe it? Almost 2 years. And she is just amazing. I was on her show, so please look, watch her show as well. She can tell us a little bit more, but it's also on the bio, so please follow each other. So, Ronnie, thank you for being the host for today. And thank you for your inspiration in my life. You are incredible, incredible. And I love you dearly. So it's all over to you, Ronnie. Inspire us.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sanet. You are such an inspiration of joy. I think that topic of joy, when I think of that, I think of you. And thank you for this opportunity again, Sanet, to be on the platform. And today I want to talk about how to create joy. And I will briefly share with you my story. How, as I grew up, I was 4 years old. My grandmother passed away. And my parents, they did the best they could with the little they had, but they could not tune into my feelings as a little child, what I wanted as a child. And my needs as a child were not met. The need for love, every one of us, we want to be loved a certain way. And our parents, they are not geniuses to understand all of that. So they did what they could. And as I grew up I did have confidence, but I didn't have self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I was good enough. I didn't believe that I was beautiful. I felt very empty growing up for years, my whole life, I would say. And until got bullied in organizations from one job to another, and I wanted to find out the pattern. It was my whole career path was I was experiencing bullying. And one day in 2014, I said, I need to find out. And I started looking until when the pandemic hit, I found the right hypnotherapy course. And since then, it has been a life-changing journey. And now I can say that being on that personal development growth has helped me to find joy that I never had. And I see Sanet in that joy all the time. So joy, it is a very powerful emotion. This is a definition that I found just to explain what joy is about. So it's a very powerful emotion that brings happiness, pleasure, and a sense of fulfillment in our lives. So it is described as a feeling of intense pleasure or happiness that arises within. So that's an important point. It arises from within, not from the outside. So we can experience joy in many different ways, in many sources, but first it starts from within. And how to create joy, I want to talk about that today because joy is so important in our life. It helps us to have great relationships with ourselves, with the people around us, also in improving our well-being and our fulfillment in life. So I will share with you some of the points, and the speakers, Len and Eliana, talk about some great, great points about how to create joy in our life. Eliana mentioned about gratitude, which is one which is very important. Another one that she shared was about sharing with good friends. For women, it's so important to have friends to connect. So I will talk a bit about that. Breathing, like Eliana said, it is the key. That's how I started, is with breathing techniques to get into my body, to connect with myself. So connection starts with us first. It's about connecting with ourselves. That's how we find joy. It's connecting with our inner self, connecting with our heart, and that's the key point for me. It was connecting with my heart. And it is, we very often in this world have ignored connecting with ourselves because we are so focused on connecting with the outside world. It's not our fault, it's the society that's created that, making us connect with all the external things. That is some of the social media that can be very detrimental to us. The news, always negative news on the TV that you see. Also about unrealistic expectations in life about what we should wear, how we should dress, that we should look thin. So all these are external things that we are connecting with. But the thing that we are not connecting is with our heart. And this is very important. And this is a gift that God has given us, is to connect and to listen to our heart. And when you do that, when you are able to connect with your heart, I have seen this from my clients. They told me as well, with my life as well, when you are able to tap in and listen to your heart, what it's telling you, to your intuition, this will help you to improve your life with yourself, your relationships, and everything else will change because you are more connected to yourself. Because in this world, we have been disconnected with ourselves. We connect with everything else and we disconnect with ourselves. And when we disconnect with ourselves and we connect with the world, we start to feel stressed because we can't meet the expectations. We start to fear, like what Len was saying. We develop fear of the virus, fear of people in power, fear of all sorts of things, fear of not having enough food, and we develop anxiety. And when we are into these low energy emotions, we can't create joy. Joy is a very high level energy, vibration, a frequency. It is like love. It is a very high level of frequency, joy. So that's why it's so important to listen to your heart, to listen to our heart, because our heart will always lead us to the right place. It is our GPS. It is whatever name you want to call it. It is your inner compass. Louise Hay called it your inner ding, your inner voice, your sixth sense, your gut feeling. So it's so important to listen to our heart. And Rumi said, I like that. I love Rumi. He's one of my favorite poet and philosopher. And he said, the very center of your heart is where life begins. The most beautiful place on earth. So listening to your heart, you will always make the right decision. You will always, because your heart will tell you, if something is wrong, you will feel your stomach start to turn and you will feel uncomfortable, you will feel nervous. So it's important to listen to our gut feeling, to our heart. But if something is right, you will feel joy, you will feel excitement, you will feel happy. So that's why I would say it's extremely important to tune in to that frequency of the heart, to turn it on and to listen to it. And how we can do that, like Eliana said, is breathing is a technique. It's a really good technique. Tapping is really good as well. I've tried all of these, Eliana. So I can relate to all that. It's been very helpful, I would say. These are very important tools we need to use for ourselves. And also it's about sitting in silence. And Len was mentioning that. Meditation, he also mentioned about visualization. These are very, very important. That's when we go to our heart space, when we use these tools. And that's when we are able to listen, because our inner voice will always tell us something. It will always tell us what is right for us. So when you leave from that place, from that heart space, you function from a place of authenticity. You are true to yourself, you are true to others as well, but most important, you are true to yourself. You express your real you, the authentic you. You are able to express yourself, and that will make you become a magnet for others. That will make you have more joy as well when you are able to express your true self. And that's very contagious. Like the joy of Sanet is contagious. And it does rub on each other. When you see people who are joyful, we want to get to know them. We want to know what they do. So it's a very important we can create that. We don't need only to see these people, but we can create what Sanet has in ourselves. Each one of us. It's just about tapping into ourselves. And I like what Rumi said. Another really beautiful quote. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Oh, it's so beautiful what Rumi says. Yeah. So the other point about finding joy, it's connecting with others. And Eliana mentioned that. We are born for connection, everybody. When we are born, we are connected to our mother, to the umbilical cord. We are connected to her. And as we grow up, we start to disconnect with ourselves, and it's society that makes us disconnect with ourselves and with others. And when we disconnect with ourselves and with others, we start to feel lost. People start to feel anxious. That's why you see anxiety, people so anxious. We don't know where we belong. We have identity crisis. We feel that we are not loved. And how we cope as children, it's very interesting to see how we survive as children. We adopt these different roles. We would play you might recognize yourself in some of these roles. I did that. I play in order to be able to connect and to cope and to survive. I play the role of the sick child. I was always sick, and that was my way to get attention, so that my parents could take me to the doctor. I would get a bit of physical touch, people say the nice words, kind words to me. Or we could play the role of the carer, where we need to feel needed by others, so that we get the love from others, we get the connection from others. So we help others, we are always helping and giving and being there for others. And the third one is we are the rebel in the house. We are against everything. We are not happy. We do our own thing. It is a way for us to get attention again, to get that connection that we have lost with our parents. And the fourth one, we try to be the perfect child. So we could play a few of these roles. So it's not one specific role. You might see yourself playing 2 or 3 of these roles. And as you work on yourself, you heal yourself, then these roles, you won't need to play them anymore because you love yourself. So the perfect child as a perfect child, we want to get the highest mark. I always was like that. I tried to achieve as much as I could. And to overwork, people who overwork as well, they want to feel appreciated, want to feel valued, and want to attract attention. So these are the ways we want to be connected. So, and what we can do as adults now, that we are aware, we take responsibility of our lives, it's about connecting with ourselves first, doing all these practices, but also connecting with others, making the effort to connect with others, to engage with others in meaningful conversation, like joining a network like this platform with Sanet. So we engage with each other, build community, build relationships. These are very important to build a sense of joy and fulfillment. And as women, so as a coach from Mars and Venus, what we say is men and women are different. We are physiologically different. And as women, we need connection with each other for us to feel happy, for us to feel joy. So Eliana mentioned that. So it's about, because when we connect with each other, we build the happy hormones. We build the oxytocin in the body. And that reduces the stress hormone, which is the cortisol. Whereas gentlemen, they need to feel needed in society. That's why the husband, you need to give him a task. The men want to do things for women, so it's very important. That's the way they connect with us. So they need to feel they are important. They are doing things for them. It's for the gentleman. It's about doing things, and that's how they connect. And very often if you notice around you people who are depressed, they tend to isolate themselves from others. So I would recommend you, wherever you are listening today, do not wait for others to invite you. I used to do that for a long time. But sometimes it's about you as well, extending that olive branch to others. Because sometimes people are shy, people have other things, and it's about you making the first step. And what you can do today, something you can all try. I don't know if you have the time for that 2 minutes it might take you, or after this call. Try to connect on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, your Messenger, your Viber, whatever platform. Connect with 3 people. Send a hello. How are you doing today? 3 people you haven't heard for a long time. And I did that on a course, and the 3 people, they responded to me. They were so happy to hear from me. So try that. You will see how a big difference it would make to your life and to the life of these people as well. So this is a short exercise that you can do. And I will end here. There are so many other tips. I can talk for hours, but I am aware of the time. We've got 5 minutes left. So I would like to say thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sanet. And I wish you all the very best, everybody.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I tell you, ladies and Lynn, how beautiful our speakers. And Ronnie, you are amazing. Any questions for Ronnie? So even if there's a question come on later, so ladies, you're always welcome to put it on the Diamond Beauties and Ronnie will answer it there. And if there's any questions for Len, I will send it because we have a special group. The 3 of the speakers today and myself are on a special group and we always can send questions. So if I look at the screen from here, I'm quickly ask. We have got a few minutes. Giovanna Healing.
I
You're
just want to
muted,
say,
Giovanna. Yes, go on.
yes, I say, all the messages were absolutely very heartfelt. I appreciate each and every one of you. Truly, you can see it comes from the heart and soul. And when we're connected that way, Ronnie, you absolutely hit it on the nose, the connection. When we are connected, we feel the joy 10 times stronger, as Ileana said, absolutely. And Len, you spoke my language because I had a Facebook group that's called Bounce Back and Rise. So we have the same message. So I appreciate you tremendously. But yeah, all of this is beautiful. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, I think we lost Sanet.
Yes, I think we lost Sanet. Anyone would like to share? Jayashree.
Yes, no, thank you so much. I learned from every single speaker. Then I loved the that rise technique. I need to go back and listen to the recording again to just get it. I really loved it. Ileana, I mean, oh goodness, I can't wait to hear more. 20 minutes, I mean, 5 minutes is not enough. The next session. And Dr. Rani, I mean, goodness, those roles that you spoke about, the sick child and the perfection. I was those roles, and it stuck with me. That's you're right. it's so much to reflect on, and amazing sessions. Sure, Sanet. I was looking forward to this one, and it lived up to its expectations, definitely.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, amazing. So I'm so sorry I went out and came in. Who else want to share quickly for us? How did I feel? Uh, Ronnie?
Maybe Melanie would like to share something, Melanie?
Oh, yes, thank you. Listening to Len, it reminded me of a quote from Bruce Lee. It's about fear. It's, I think, the most famous. He said that the shift in the mindset should not be, oh, I'm stuck with 10 enemies in a room. It's just that they should be afraid being stuck with me. And I think it's funny. It's really about, yeah. It's not the exact quote. You can find it Googling it. But yeah, it reminded me of that. And I appreciate what you said. And I was a practitioner of martial art as well. So it reminded me some good memories as well. And Eliana's stories, thank you so much for sharing and sharing the pictures with us. It was really moving and very brave story. And Rani, yes, thank you for sharing all the tips and tricks. And about connection, I think it's so important, especially at this time, sorry, that we are getting out from any isolation habits we might have been into, and to have to be grateful for every connection and meditate to connect with yourself first and then to connect with others. Voila.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel. Who else want to share?
I just want to say one more thing. I have this plaque and I have to share it because I'm sure we all can agree. So if you can read it.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
Yes.
And that's really, that's the message that came across today with this gathering of everyone speaking. It's like the message of, have the faith over fear.
Yes.
Because I think that's what's I don't think, I know that's where true life begins, is when you let go of the fear and you discover your possibilities, because they're endless. So this was amazing. Thank you. This was like the best medicine we could receive, right? Beautiful message. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for that, Giovanna. And then when I go like this, it's like, yes, I am so happy because beautiful Len, beautiful Eliana, and beautiful Ronnie has got the perfect message for us for today. And somebody said to me, it's World Happiness Day or something.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that, but I think it's World Happiness Day. So even though this theme was put down in November last year, it was the perfect time, and you guys were the perfect message for us. So I want to say thank you so much for everyone that was on here, and then for our amazing speakers, Len, Eliana, and Ronnie. Thank you so much. And then Ronnie, if you are okay, we can stop the recording. But first, before you stop, please tell us your forever song.
Okay, my forever song is I'm Alive by Celine Dion.
Oh.
And I feel alive when I listen to that
And the
song.
reason?
The reason is I feel
Oh, wow.
alive. I feel joy. I feel alive inside. It's an aliveness from the inside that I feel. Yes, so that's why I chose that song. It made me feel alive. And I hope it does make you feel
Wow,
alive.
amazing, amazing. And when we did Ronnie's Forever process, I had goosebumps because it was so beautiful and Ronnie's power word was so amazing. So thank you for allowing me to gift you that. So Len, you and Aliana, I will be speaking on the group. I'm going to gift you something that I have done for almost 150 ladies, and Len, you will be number 19 men that they say that this process is like amazing. So I will get back to you to say thank you, thank you. And then the last part before Ronnie is going to play, I just want to say have a beautiful rest of the week. And you know, I will say smile often, but I know I can see all of you smile, but I don't know if all of you are dancing. So have a dance on me. So Ronnie, all over to you, my one.
Okay, I'll stop the recording now.